this is the October update for my second H Domain project. So I'm just going to run through a quick summary of what was done in October, Google Analytics, Search Console, Ahrefs, and the plans for November. It's obviously very early days. This is the first update, so there isn't really a ton of data or anything too exciting at this point. But I'm just going to continue on with the same format, and I'll probably add Search Robot as well when I get around to it, and when I've got a few more articles added to the site. So, summary of October. So there was 47 articles published, and this was a mixture of my own writer from ProBlogger, Niche Website Builders, and my Content Pal. So I did a 10,000 word sort of test order with my Content Pal, and yeah, they produced decent content. I was pretty happy with them, so I'll definitely use them again, and I may revisit that service in the future. But for now, I'm just really going to continue, I think, with one of the writers that I hired from ProBlogger. So I did initially have two, but one of them just does a much better job. She's got some prior experience within the niche, and she just writes better content. Like, it's a lot more engaging. She kind of writes in a way where she sort of references her own experience in that situation, and I think the articles just read a lot better, and they're more relatable. So I'm just going to continue using her, I think, to to push to the next to push through the next batch of articles to get to 100 articles published. So got about another 50 or so that she's going to do, and she can do around 5 articles a week. So it will work from a time point of view. I mean, it'll probably take me until January time, I think, to be 100 articles published, and that's fine for me, because I still want to stick to the initial plan of around 100 articles published, and then just let it sit for a little bit, just to see how the articles perform that have been published, and I just want to see that initial bit of traction, just to give me confirmation that it is working, and then I can push from there. On the first case study that I did, I kind of overspent a little bit. I mean, I've obviously allocated funds and a budget to do this stuff, but with the first one, I kind of used too many services really, where I was paying like 8 cents a word. So I don't really want to do that again in this stage. I know for the initial articles, used a couple of agencies, but if I've got a really good writer who I'm happy with, that cost me 5 cents a word, I feel like it makes the most sense, really, just to focus with that writer, at least until I can get to the initial 100 articles published. So moving on, so I haven't done any kind of internal linking yet. So I've literally just been focusing on publishing the articles, making sure they're well formatted, adding images, YouTube videos, and so on. So I'm going to revisit the internal linking. I just feel that it makes sense to wait until I've got a decent amount of articles on there, because it just makes things a lot easier. So when I get to around 70 articles, I'm probably just going to add Link Whisper, and then go through all of the articles that have been published, and add all of the internal links. I have got 8 articles now that are ready to be published, but didn't really get around to doing them. I was away, went on holiday with the family for just under a couple of weeks. So I'm just gonna move them over to the November batch. I also got about 29 article outlines or drafts, whatever you want to call them, done and pass them over to my writer. So that's the pro blogger writer. So she's completely set up now on a Google Shared Drive. So we've got full list of all the articles, all the drafts are in there. So she just literally goes in, picks up a draft, completes it, and then moves it over to the completed folder. So we've got a good, systems working well. So just going to continue on with that. Google Analytics, I mean, again, for Google Analytics, Search Console, there's not a lot really to see at this point, and it is getting some traffic already. I think it's ranked quite quickly for some of its like domain name related keywords. There's quite a few keywords for the actual domain name plus a product that I think the homepage is ranking for. So yeah, I guess it's good to see that it is getting some initial traffic, but it's majority of this is not really relevant to the articles that have recently been published, I don't believe. Search Console, same thing, same reason. So I think majority of this is solely linked to the the domain name homepage ranking for some sort of, you can say, old brand keywords. Ahrefs, there's again not a lot to see here really, but as always, just going to keep an eye on organic keywords that keeps moving in the right direction. Plans for November. So I'm planning to try and get at least 25 articles published for November. I am trying to spend a little bit of time on each article. I don't just want to just publish something blindly just for the sake of numbers. So I am trying to spend a bit of time just to make sure they're well formatted, that they read well, there isn't any mistakes. Although I haven't really come across any sort of errors or mistakes from the writer, from that pro blogger writer, but I do tend to give each one at least a kind of speedy read through and just make sure that they're well formatted. They've got some decent images on there, and I also just kind of have a quick glance at the competitor articles just to make sure that they're in my opinion that they're better than what's out there. So November plans as well is to try and add Link Whisper. I mean, that's probably going to be towards the end of the month, assuming I can get those like 25 articles published to sort of put me at 70 articles plus published in total. I also need to do another batch of article outlines. So I want to try and do another 20 ideally of like article outlines and drafts, so that I can pass them over to my current writer. So that's pretty much it for this month. It's very early days, so there's not too much to talk about. But I'll be back in a month's time to do another update, and I'm also going to try and get SERProbot set up so that I can include that next month as well. So yeah, thanks a lot for following along, and I'll see you all in a month's time.